Good afternoon, students. So in today's session, we'll continue with a few questions we have seen in the last class. Okay, so here we go. So we have a diagram given in which there is a platform T of mass 1 kg, which is placed on a frictionless horizontal surface, and two blocks A and B of masses 4 kg and 1 kg respectively are placed on the platform. So friction coefficient, that is static and kinetic friction coefficients between the block and the platform are given here. They are given to be 0.16 and zero point 0.1. So blocks are connected by a light inextensible spring that passes around a pulley, light pulley, and the pulley is pulled horizontally by a constant force. Okay, so the acceleration of platform is given to be 2 meters per second. So we have to find magnitude of the force F that is applied, and also friction forces acting on each block and their respective accelerations.
force capital F should be 18 newtons, sir.
Capital F should be 18 newtons.
18.
Okay.
The frictions acting on both blocks should be 1 newton each.
Okay.
A will anyways accelerate with same acceleration as P, and B for B we can calculate, so like,
Okay.
because we know friction and force.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
we are getting 18 for capital F.
Capital F. Okay.
And friction forces will be 1 Newton and 1 Newton on each of them.
Okay.
And acceleration for B will be 8, A will be 2.
Also find what should be acceleration of pulley in this case. Acceleration of pulley.
Acceleration of A plus acceleration of B by 2. So it'll be, if it's 8 and 2, it'll be 5 more.
4 point. 4. Yeah, 5.
5. Average of A and B.
Okay, so here, if you consider this is a setup we are looking for. So masses of plank P, A, and blocks A and B are given. Yeah. So there are actually a few possibilities like we have to check for, because generally in these kind of questions we really don't know in the beginning whether there will be static friction between the blocks or whether it will be kinetic friction, because it all depends on whether they will move like at rest with respect to one another, or whether they will slip relative to one another. So we may have to consider one or two cases to rule out, and then we may be able to like check the actual possibility here. So here one thing we will go with is like considering all the three of them to be moving together. Okay, that is, if there is no relative motion between A and plank or between B and plank, then how is it going to be? Okay, so if that is the case, say as it is given that plank has an acceleration of 2 meters per second square, right? So which means if under the assumption that if all three moving together, then we should get the net force F, which is the external force, should be total mass into acceleration. So that is going to be 6. Total mass is 6. So there should be 12 newtons. So there should be a 12 Newton force that should be acting if all the three have to move together with a common acceleration of 2 meters per second. Okay. So now you will see here that if force is 12 newtons, then tension that we should get here, this tension force will be equal to F by 2, which will be 6 newtons. Because this is a massless pulley, so T and T will add up and it will equate with F. So therefore tension should be 6 newtons. So 6 Newton force is acting on A, which is pulling A towards right. Now if you think logically, a 6 Newton force cannot impart, even if there were no friction, even if there are no friction acting on A, it cannot impart an acceleration of 2 meters per second square for A, because A's mass is given to be 4 kg. So a 4 kg mass cannot be pulled with an acceleration of 2 meters per second square with the help of only this 6 Newton force. Okay, that means our assumption is definitely wrong. The assumption that we were thinking that all the three have to move with 2 meters per second square acceleration is definitely wrong. We don't have to go any further with this. Right? Is it clear? So now what we should do next? Okay, we will now consider that since this is a 4 kg mass and this is only 1 kg mass, so the maximum force of static friction on A will also be higher, because maximum force of static friction is mu mg, mu s into mg, which is going to be obviously higher for A when compared to B. So the chances are more that B will slip, right? And A would not slip, right? It's only a likelihood, right? I'm not sure of it still, right? So we'll have to write the equations and see whether what we are thinking is right. So we will consider that A is like at rest relative to the plank, and it moves along with the plank with a common acceleration of 2 meters per second square, right? And B moves relative to a plank and it slips forward. Okay, so if that is the case, we'll see what should happen. So in such case, like we can say that we'll take A and plank moving together. The second case I am going to investigate. Okay, so we'll investigate this particular case and see what it comes out. So this system of A and plank has one external force, and that is tension. And it has one more external force, which is the friction due to B. External forces on P. Okay, and moreover, the value of friction B will be same as maximum, which is nothing but mu s, or that should be equal to, since the value of mu s is given to be 0.16. Okay, so it will be 0.16.
So it should be mu k.
But should we take 0.16 or 0.1? Should we
take
consider
0.1
here?
because we are saying that already that it is like slipping us. We
Yes,
have
it's
taken
already
that
slipping, so therefore friction should be kinetic friction, and the kinetic
Yes.
friction coefficient is given to be 0.1, right? So therefore here we should not be taking mu s, but rather we should be taking mu, and this is going to be 0.1. So it comes out with 1 Newton, right? The kinetic friction force acting on B is 1 Newton, and that should be acting on B leftwards. Okay, the same friction 1 Newton force will act over here. Okay, on this. Now, since this whole system has an acceleration of 2 meters per second square, so which means P plus FB must be equal to total mass of this system, which is 5, right, into A, or that is going to be 10. Because acceleration is 2 meters per second square. This is what we have assumed, right? So 10 newtons. So which means tension alone should be 9. Because value of FB has been found by 1 Newton. So tension should be 9. Okay. Is it clear? Right. So once we find the value of tension, okay. So you can use that expression of tension to calculate what is the acceleration of B. So I can simply use this equation now. Tension minus FB is equal to MB into AB. So this is 9 minus 1. That should be equal to mass of B is 1. So this gives you acceleration of B equal to. You get acceleration of B is 8 meters. Okay. Then so we already know what are we know accelerations of A and P already. Okay. But then we haven't done anything here to check whether our assumption is right or not. Just to be on safe side, and so that we don't ignore some obvious things and go wrong. So we need to check whether what we assumed is right, because we just followed the assumption and we got some results. Okay, but to check whether the assumption is right or not, we will check the friction value between A and B. The value of friction force that acts between A and B. Okay, that friction force should be less than the maximum force of static friction. Okay, now we can say that if I draw a free body diagram for P, what should be direction of friction force on P? Direction of friction force on P should be this way. Okay, friction force acting on P should be towards right, whereas friction force acting on A, it should be towards left. Because it is a friction force on P due to A, that is a force which actually drives P in the forward direction. Right? Okay, so we'll consider like this FA forward. So FA and also FB is also acting forward on P. So we can say FA plus FB should be equal to mass of P into axis. That is nothing but 2 newtons. Okay, but you already know that FB is 1 Newton. Okay, this FB is already known to be 1 Newton. So therefore, we get FA also to be equal to. In fact, this was one of the things that we wanted to find. We wanted to find the friction force between A and the plank, and that's coming out with 1 Newton. Okay, and the maximum force of friction on A, Fa max. Fa max over here will be mu S into 40. Mu S into 40, which is 0.16. So 0.16 into 4G, if you do, I think you'll definitely get something which is more than 1. You don't need to calculate, but it will come out to be more than 1. So clearly we got some value of friction force which is acting on A, which is less than the maximum force of A. Okay, so therefore we can safely say that our assumption is correct in every respect. Right? And we have already determined in the process accelerations of all the 3 blocks, friction forces acting on both A and B also we have calculated. Okay. The only thing that is left now is to determine the value. Okay. But then value of F is nothing but 2 times A. Okay. So since we already got tension to be 9 newtons, so this must be 18. Right? Is it clear?
Sir, can you explain the first case, sir, when all 3 are moving together once? Like, why did we neglect that?
When I was actually explaining the first case, I did not actually work further in that because I stopped midway itself because I thought there is no point in going further with that. See, if you look at what I did, I calculated the common, I calculated what is the net external force that should be acting, and that comes out with 12 newtons. If all the 3 have a common acceleration.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So that means tension in each string should come out to be 6 newtons. Okay.
Yes.
Now if you consider the free body diagram of A is experiencing tension and Fa. Okay. So
Yes.
tension, like difference between tension and Fa should be equal to mass of A into acceleration. We can write something like this: E minus Fa should be equal to 4 into A. Okay. But if you do 4 into A, you will get 8 because acceleration is 2. Right? So that means the tension force should be definitely more than 8 newtons. It can't be less than 8 newtons. But what we are
Okay.
seeing here is that we are getting tension to be 6 newtons. So it is not possible for 6 Newton force to cause an acceleration of 2 meters per second square for a 4 kg.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir, can we take another case also, sir? Like, if B is moving and A is at rest.
B is moving and
A is at rest.
we have taken that only. Like here in the second case, we have taken A and P are moving together. That means A is at rest relative to Planck and B is moving relative.
No, B and P are moving together.
Okay, B and P are moving together. You can take that. You can take that and check that also, but it might come out to be wrong eventually. Because if this is coming out to be right, that cannot come out to be right. Okay. So, but the reason we have not taken that in the first place is because intuitively one can say that this is more because normal force and the limiting friction acting on A will have a higher value. The value of F max will come out to be 0.16 into 4G, whereas here it will come out to be, for B it will come out to be 0.16 into 1G only. So the chances are more that A is going to undergo relative motion. So that's why we took this case first before we check the other process.
Sir, it cannot
So,
be
sir,
possible that B is not sliding and A is sliding.
It can also be possible that B is not sliding and A is sliding.
Sir, it is not possible, I'm saying.
Not possible. Okay, why?
Sir, how is that possible?
No, but how are you able to say that directly? That's what I want to know.
Sir, if the friction is if friction is unable to stop A, how is it able to stop B?
Friction is unable to stop A.
Sir, if maximum sliding friction for A is more than maximum sliding friction for B,
Correct,
and
correct.
relative motion is not being stopped by maximum friction of A, it can't, for B, it can't be stopped.
Yeah, that we can say. That means if relative motion should not be there, then either A or B should have accelerations more than 2 meters per second.
Yes, sir. Or A and P or A and plank should
Yeah.
have same acceleration.
Now A cannot have acceleration more than 2 meters per second square. Now, like if B is having acceleration more than 2 meters per second square, or if B is having acceleration of 2 meters per second square only, and if A has to have acceleration of more than 2 meters per second square, then in that case, like the friction acting due to A will be forward.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the friction acting due to A will be forward on P. Okay, and that friction force will come out to be something like this: 0.1 into mg we will get. 0.1 maximum friction force will come out to be mu k into mg. That mu k into mg and this additional force F we have to take, which will be the tension. Tension and this mu k into mg will be the net force that is acting on the Planck and B system. Okay, and then we can calculate what is acceleration, and we have to work out this way only to see that it doesn't turn out to be correct. For B moving together or B moving along with the Planck with no relative motion.
So can we directly say that if A moves relative to Planck and B stays at rest, the string becomes slack?
If A moves relative to Planck and blink, no, that we cannot say. That we don't have a reason to say that, because here the pulley keeps moving, right? So the slackness will come if the pulley doesn't move.
Okay.
Okay. Now A is moving because the pulley is moving, and that is making A move. So like it doesn't imply, because if you think that string becomes slack just because A is moving relatively and B is not moving, then the other way around is also possible.
Yes.
That is, if B is moving and A is not undergoing relative motion, then also string can become.
Yes.
However, in this particular question, there was one more thing I asked in the end, the acceleration of pulley. In this case, we can say that since we got the acceleration of A and B are 2 and 8, we got acceleration of A is 2 and acceleration of B is 8. Okay, so if you take average of both of them, you will get what is acceleration of pulley. So you should get acceleration of pulley to be equal to 8 plus 2 by 2, which will come out to be 5 meters per second. I can actually show that by using constraint relation also, that it should be 5 meters per second square. Okay, so here what I was saying is if acceleration of 8 is 2 and acceleration of B, it is 8. Okay, now suppose acceleration of pulley is AP, right? Now we know one thing, that since the string length is fixed, so acceleration of A relative to pulley and acceleration of B relative to pulley should be in opposite directions and should be of same magnitude. Right? Acceleration of A relative to pulley and acceleration of B relative to pulley should be in opposite directions and it should be of same magnitude. Which means A minus AP should be equal to minus of AB minus. This is one thing we can directly see. Okay, so from this we will be able to say that A plus AB by 2. Right? Is it clear? So here we have one question. Okay, so there is a horizontal disc on which two blocks A and B are placed. Their masses are given 20 and 10 kgs. Okay, and they are placed at distances of RA and RB from center. RA and RB are also given. 50 centimeters and 20 centimeters. Okay, they are connected to each other by a light inextensible string that passes around the frictionless thin axle of the disk. So there is a thin axle at the center of the disk. The string passes around this frictionless axle. Okay, the coefficient of friction between the blocks and the disk is given to be 2. Okay, so the disk is free to rotate about the vertical axle, and if the angular velocity of disk is slowly increased starting from rest, and we have to find the maximum angular velocity of the disk so that the blocks don't slide on the surface.
Sir,
Yes.
is the answer 5, sir?
5. Okay. You can also determine the tension in the string when the blocks are just about to slide.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, can we assume that when the blocks are about to slide, the friction force, the tension will be zero, sir, for the block which was about to slide, the tension will be zero in the at that point of time. So can we say that mu into normal force equal to m omega square r and find omega?
No, when they are about to slide, tension will not be zero.
Where is the
Tension will
maximum
be
omega?
developed. Tension will be developed in the string. It won't be zero at that.
Okay.
That is maximum omega 5 by root 3.
Yeah.
Is
M?
maximum omega 5 by root 3.
5 by root 3.
Yes.
Okay. So what was your method?
Sir, I assumed maximum friction at both both bodies. Sir.
Okay.
So then F like friction force plus tension on A should be mr1 square omega m omega square r.
Friction force plus tension. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, and the same thing, friction force plus tension on B should be m2 r omega square r2.
What will be direction of friction force on B?
On B will be inwards. On B will be inwards. No. If on A it's outwards, B will be inwards. If on B it's inwards, A will be outwards.
Yeah. Right. Check that once.
Why-
Like, yes,
why-
Pranav.
why-
There is the maximum omega 5, sir.
Maximum omega 5. What was the method?
So there'll be same tension in both the strings, though, sir.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that friction on A,
Okay.
like MB omega square RA will be more than MA omega square RA will be more than MB omega square RB, no, sir.
Right.
So we need more centripetal force for A, no, sir.
Right.
So tension plus friction on A. So T plus F1 should be equal to, if it is not slipping, sir, T plus F1 should be equal to MA omega square RA. And similarly on B, T minus F2, like friction on B will be acting outwards, no, sir, because tension is high.
Okay.
So T minus F2 equal to MB omega square RB.
Okay.
Then I'm
So using
subtracting
those
those two
equations.
equations.
Okay.
So I'm
using
getting
those two, you're getting
F1
omega,
plus,
maximum omega, right? And
sir,
the
like I'm
friction,
getting
friction
F1 plus
F1 and F2,
F2.
you're taking as limiting friction only, no?
Yes, sir. Both of them are taking as limiting, sir.
Okay. Okay, so here we have, I'll just draw the diagram again. So supposing it rotates with some angular velocity omega. Okay. Then if tension in the string would not have been there, or if there would have been no string at all, then each of the blocks A and B will have tendencies to go outwards. Okay. They'll have tendency to go radially outwards because of the centrifugal force which is acting outwards. If you're looking from a reference frame fixed to the disk, then you can say there is a tendency to move outwards relative to disk. Okay. Moreover, we can say that that the centrifugal force on A will be MA omega square into RA, and for B it will be MB omega square into RA. Centrifugal force will be these values we get here. If you compare these two values, definitely for A it is more, because since mass of A is more, since RA also is more, so for A it is more. Okay, so therefore, like there is a possibility that there is a more likely possibility that even if you use this condition, that if there were no string, only friction should balance this force, the centrifugal force. So then in that case, the friction force, which is equal to mu mg, we can equal to m omega square r. This is something we can say when the body is just about to slip, and if there were no tension force. Okay, then you should get omega square equal to mu g by. So this is showing you that body which is having a higher r will have smaller omega. That means it is going to start sliding sooner. Okay, I think from this it's clear that out of A and B, RA is more than RB, so therefore A is likely to slide sooner if string were not there. Okay, so now the string is preventing that from happening. So string ensures that both A and B will slide at the same time. Okay, because the force of tension, tension force is like a force which is getting transferred between the bodies. Radially, it is getting transferred due to the string. Okay, so that's why here there is one possibility. We'll assume that when they are just about to slide, A will have a tendency to go outwards. Okay, A will have a tendency to go outwards, and therefore on A, if you consider, there should be a friction force acting. And of course, centrifugal force will be less. And tension force. Okay, so we can balance like these forces, and moreover, since the bodies are just about to slide, so we can take Fa is the same as F max, and that should just be nothing but mu ma into g. Okay, so if I write one force equation, I'll get tension plus mu ma into g equal to ma into omega square. Now for B, now this string is connected and it is free to slide around this axle, around this vertical axle, it is free to slide around it. So if A has a tendency to go this way, then B will have a tendency to go this way. So B will have a tendency to slide inwards or towards the center. Or if B has a tendency to slide outwards, then A will have a tendency to slide inwards. Okay, but in this particular scenario, that seems unlikely. Right? So therefore, like we can go with the fact that B is likely to show tendency to slide inwards. So friction on B should act. And the tension is anyway acting. And the centrifugal force would be mv omega square r. So if you equate the forces, you should get Fb plus mv omega square rb equal to T. Or this is same as mu mbg plus mb omega square rb equal to T. Now this T we can substitute in the first equation, and that we can use to find what is omega, what is maximum omega. Okay, so this T we can substitute here. So then you will get mu mbg plus mb omega square rb plus mu mag is equal to na omega square. So this gives you omega square is equal to, if you simplify this like you will get mu into ma plus mg into g divided by, okay, so it comes out to be MARA minus MB. So maximum omega that you can you are allowed to, right, before the blocks will start to slide, it will come out to be this mu times MA plus MB into G by MARA minus M. Okay, and you can also find the tension force as well. You can substitute this omega square like in this equation or in this equation, and we can find the tension force.
Sir,
Yes.
won't there be friction in tangential direction, sir?
Friction in tangential direction, but why would there be friction in tangential direction?
If friction is not there, it won't set into rolling rotation, no, sir.
No, see here, friction in tangential direction we are not taking into account, because if there is a friction in tangential direction, that friction will cause tangential acceleration. Okay, and as such we are assuming that there is no tangential acceleration.
But
Okay.
for that block to go into rotation, sir, till omega, some friction should act, no, sir, in tangential direction.
Yeah, here as in the question it is mentioned, no, like that the angular velocity is slowly being increased.
Okay.
Right? So as it is slowly being increased, we can assume that like the tangential acceleration is very small. So therefore we are not taking that into account. Otherwise we should take friction to be resultant of like the forces which are acting around the string as well as tangential force. Because the component of friction will provide tangential acceleration and the other component of friction will be acting.
So omega is
But in this case we are not doing that mainly because like omega is varying very slowly, and since it is varying very slowly, so there is no tangential acceleration, and if there is no tangential acceleration, there is no tangential force. Because tangential force is equal to mass into tangential acceleration.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah, is it clear?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, once again, can you explain what you are telling about omega square equal to mu g by r, sir? Like tendency for slipping.
Yeah. See, this was not related to this question actually. This
Yes.
was just like an intuitive working before you are actually solving this. See, why I am doing this is because like for the time being, let's think that there is no spring. If there is no spring and if only blocks were there were individual like independent blocks placed on the table or placed on the disk. Then if you were to increase the angular velocity omega slowly, then when would the blocks start sliding? So to get that, we can use this relation. We can say that the centrifugal force which is acting outwards is being balanced by the static friction force which is acting inwards. Okay, and when the maximum possible static friction value is mu mg. So by equating this mu mg to m omega square r, we are getting what is the maximum angular velocity that the disk can be rotated with without causing slipping, and that comes out to be mu g by r. Okay, so as it is inversely proportional to r, so it's clear that if the body is placed farther away, the value of this omega square will be smaller. Value of this maximum omega square or limiting omega square. You're getting my point, right?
Yes.
So if the value of limiting omega square is smaller, what does it mean? It means that it is going to start sliding sooner.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
right? Because in the question, as I told you, slowly the omega is being increased from rest, right? So more sooner, like the body which is placed farther away from center is going to start rotation,
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
right? So based on that, we could conclude that between these two bodies, A is having a chances of sliding before B starts. Okay, because based on the given values in the question, RA is given to be more than R.
Yes.
Okay, as RA is given to be 50 centimeters, I think, huh? And RB is given to be some 30 centimeters or something.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so then we can substitute the values of MA, MB, RA, and RB in this, and then omega square will come out, or omega will come out to be 5 by root 3, or what does it come out to be? 5.
5, sir.
5.
5.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay, not 5 by root 3. Okay, so here we have another like question. Okay, so on a frictionless horizontal surface, a small block of P is placed. One vertical face of the block is in contact with a wooden plank AB, as shown in the diagram, which shows the top view of the arrangement. The horizontal surface is along the XY plane. So the XY plane is basically the parallel to the horizontal surface. Okay, the plank is made to move with a constant horizontal acceleration A. Okay, and the horizontal acceleration is at an angle theta. Okay, with the direction of plane of the plank. Okay, and it is moving with a constant acceleration A without any rotation. Okay, it's only translating. The coefficient of friction between the block P and the plank is given as 0.75. So we have to find the distance S traveled by the block when the plank has moved a distance L, where L is given to be 40 centimeters. Okay, so the question is you have to find distance S traveled by the block when the plank has moved a distance L. And the value of sin theta is given to be 3 by 5.
So what is the value of the acceleration?
What is the
Value of the acceleration.
value is not given.
So 30 centimeters, sir.
30 centimeters. So we can take ratio in like ratio of acceleration of Planck to ratio of acceleration of body.
Yeah. You can.
Yes, we will get 30 centimeters first.
30 centimeters.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, 30 centimeters, like you're talking about is displacement or distance traveled?
Distance only.
Distance only.
Yes. Sir, net ratio of acceleration should only be net ratio of distances traveled.
Okay. Because like why I'm asking is acceleration you can relate to displacement.
Yes.
Uh,
Sir, here acceleration will only be in one direction. Like
Sir, the distance moved, I'm getting 54 centimeters.
Yes,
54 centimeters.
54 centimeters. Okay.
Sir,
What was the method?
sir, in the reference frame of the plank, wooden plank, I wrote the free body diagram for P block, sir. Like
Okay. Okay.
the pseudo force will have some horizontal component and normal component, no, sir.
Okay.
Friction I took as mu into n,
Okay.
and friction mu into n, and pseudo force minus friction will be net acceleration relative to plank.
Why do you take friction as mu into it? Because
Friction,
did you check whether it will have relative motion or not? I mean, if there is no possibility of relative motion, then friction force may be just static friction only.
Yes, sir. But in this case, it won't be like it has to be kinetics because with the given values of mu and theta, we'll get that it is
On
slipping.
checking, you're getting that it is going to slide.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If it were not sliding, then distance of moved by Planck itself should be distance moved by body mass.
Yes. Yeah. If it is not sliding, then it will be like the same as what is given as 40 centimeters.
Yes, sir.
sir, won't that depend on the value of A, sir?
Value of A.
Yes, sir.
No. It won't. In this case, it won't depend on value.
It will depend only on values of mu and theta.
It will depend on value of mu, and of course, it should depend on value of theta also.
Yes.
Okay. Sir, after finding relative
Reason why it won't depend on A is because like your pseudo force depends on A.
okay.
And the pseudo force's components are there. No, normal force will depend on pseudo force component only.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay.
And
Yes.
and the force which is making the body move also depends on pseudo force component.
Yes, sir. Understood. Sir, so distance moved will be distance moved by Planck and relative distance moved by the block, no, sir?
Distance moved by?
Block. It will be distance moved by the Planck plus the distance moved relative to Planck, no, sir?
No, vectorially, like you can add vectorially displacement of Planck and the displacement of block relative. Okay, if you add vectorially, no, displacement of block relative to Planck and displacement of Planck, then you will get what is displacement of block relative to ground.
Okay. But we have to find distance only, no? So, no
Yeah,
need to-
but here you can see whether distance or displacement will they be same or will they be different. That also you need to like think about. If you think that they are same, then you can just find a displacement that should be as good as distance.
In this case, we'll get that acceleration is in same direction only. So begin one direction only.
And I think the system starts from rest only, no?
So it won't matter only, no, sir, whether the system starts from rest or not.
Sir, it will move in a curved path, no, sir, relative to if it's a ground observer, P.
It will have a
Like it will have two components, vertical
Yeah.
and horizontal.
Yeah.
Okay.
two components will have, and don't both of them you can add vectorially.
the distance we have to do in a different way now. So we have to take mod v into dt.
So direction of net acceleration of block is not changing, so distance is same as displacement.
Yeah, that's also true.
Yes.
Yes, like the direction of acceleration is not changing, no? And it and so therefore, like if the direction of acceleration is changing, then there will be a possibility of body coming to rest and changing its direction.
Okay.
Okay, so let us just consider here like this. Okay, so the system, the plank is moving with an acceleration, or the wooden board is moving with an acceleration A. Now this XY plane is horizontal plane, so this is basically the top view. This is not, it's not like, although like when you look at the diagram, it may give you an impression that block is placed on top of a wooden board, but that's not the case here. The block is vertically in contact with the wooden board. So we have a wooden board placed somewhere like this, and the block is in contact with the wooden board, right? So that is seen from the top. So when you see it from the top, it appears like this. Okay, and this acceleration A, which is shown in the diagram, is also horizontal acceleration. It's horizontal acceleration which is making an angle theta with the x-axis. Okay. So it will be actually convenient if you analyze the acceleration or force equations for the block in the frame of reference of the wooden board. So then if you take in the frame of reference, in the frame of wooden board, okay, we will get that block is experiencing a pseudo force, which is equal to Ma. That has two components, Ma cos theta and Ma sin. Right? And in addition to these two forces, there will be a normal force acting. And we should not be making the mistake of taking mg downwards like here, because as I told you earlier, this is top view of what is in vertical plane. Okay, so they are in contact laterally, like not vertically. So mg is not acting downwards, but rather you can say mg is acting into the plane, or maybe out of the plane. Okay, so we won't answer mg in this whole scenario at all. Right? So the forces are basically normal force, is like forces, and of course there will be friction force. Okay, normal force we can equate to Ma sin theta. Okay, and friction force must be equal to Ma cos theta if there is no relative motion. Okay, if there is no relative motion, then friction force must be equal to Ma cos theta. Okay, here since value of sin theta is given to me 3/5, so this is 3/5 Ma, and this is 4/5. Okay, so maximum friction, however, will be F max will be mu times n. That will be 0.75 into 3/5. So 0.75 into 3/5 Ma will be how much? 0.75 into 3/5 Ma will be, I think, 0.45 Ma, right? Around 0.45 Ma. Okay, you can compare this with the value of friction force that we have got. That is 4/5 Ma. So definitely 4/5 Ma is much more than this. So it's not possible that friction force can be more than the maximum force of static friction. So it's clearly showing you here that the block cannot be at rest relative to the board. So it cannot be at rest relative to the board. It must be sliding relative to the board. Okay. And if it is sliding, it is going to be sliding this way. It will be sliding in the leftward direction with some relative acceleration A. I consider its relative acceleration to be A relative. Then I can write one equation here for the block, which is Ma cos theta minus F max is equal to M into. I'm using Newton's second law of motion here. taking into account pseudo force also, because the pseudo force component also have taken ma cos theta minus maximum friction. So this ma cos theta here is 4 by 5 m. So it is 0.8 ma minus F max is 0.45 m. That should be m into a. So this gives you a relative equal to. Uses you get a relative will be 0.35. Anyway, one thing which I want to tell you here is, although you don't need, you can find a relative in this case, but you don't really need to find a relative also for solving this particular problem. Why? Because see, in the ground reference frame, if you see what are the forces which are acting on this block, only friction force is there and normal forces. Those are the only two forces which are acting on the block. In ground frame, if you see, the block is experiencing normal force, which is equal to normal force is equal to 0.6 MA, and friction force is acting this way, F max. It is experiencing a friction force F max towards right, and that F max will be equal to 0.45. So these are the two forces that the block is experiencing. Okay, right? So that means I can say that acceleration of the block in x direction will be 0.45a. Acceleration of block in y direction should be 0.68. Right? So therefore, it won't be wrong to say that ax is 0.45a and ay is 0.68. This means the net a will be resultant of this root over ax square plus a. So therefore, net a will come out to be, you calculate the square of this 0.45 square plus 0.6 square. You can do that. Right? Doing that, I think it comes out to be 0.75. Right? It comes out to be, I think, 0.75. Okay, that's the net acceleration. 0.75. And the direction of what should be direction of net acceleration? Direction of net acceleration. Okay. Right. So now how do you determine the distance? Yes.
Yes, like the second part of the question, which you said if it was initially moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it were moving in opposite direction of acceleration only, then it would be a problem for distance. Otherwise, it.
Yeah. Anyway, we can assume that like it is starting from rest only.
Yes. Sir.
Okay. But in that case, we can easily compare also. We can see here that like if the acceleration is a, and the displacement of the wooden board was 40 centimeters. Okay. So the displacement will be half a t square in some time t. Okay. If the wooden board is starting from rest, it should be just half a t square. Then since the block is having an acceleration of 0.75 a, so the displacement of the block should be 3/4 of displacement of the board. So we can say displacement of AB, if it is L, or if it is equal to 40 centimeters, and displacement of block, that should be 0.75 times. Okay, that should come out with that. Right? Is it clear? Okay, right. So like with this, like we will close today's session. We'll continue like same way in the next session.